It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, how's it going? Just Sarah today. Sorry, my better half is traveling for work, so you got me flying solo today. Here is a look at the news for your Tuesday morning. First of all, we talked about the big earthquake in Oklahoma over the weekend, a 5.1 magnitude quake. Believe it or not, there were people in Southwest Missouri here in the Ozarks who say they felt that earthquake, even though 5.1, I mean, that's not too big. But of course, it raises the question, and I guess also the concern level, what happens when the big one hits, right? We've been hearing about the big one much closer to our neck of the woods in days, weeks, months, years to come. I mean, who knows when? I guess that is the million-dollar question, right? Specifically along the New Madrid fault line, which is basically in the boot heel of Missouri. It is expected to be sizable at some point. Right now, though, on average, that area has about 200 earthquakes per year. Most of them, for now, are small. But when the big one hits, this is interesting. Our local airport officials at Springfield Branson National Airport, they say that we will play a very significant role in being a logistics hub for all the people who will be helping in the aftermath of that earthquake. So how about that? Springfield would be the nearest town with a big airport to be able to handle the kind of traffic that they would anticipate might be coming in after a potentially sizable earthquake. Ha! Isn't that crazy? I mean, I've still never in my life felt an earthquake. So, and I grew up in Oklahoma, but I think with fracking and everything, Oklahoma just gets a lot more earthquakes than it ever did when I was a child. I don't remember a single one. And now I still have friends who live there and they report feeling earthquakes more often. So very interesting. All right, now to this, the numbers are in, and Missouri saw nearly 1,000 fatalities last year on our roadways. That is better than 2022. The number's down by 6%, but still a lot. About 3 people on average die per day in Missouri in crashes on highways. So authorities say still lots of work to be done. Buckle up. Put down your phone, slow down, and drive sober. They say that is the way to decrease those fatality numbers even more. All right, now to this. Mixed feelings on a new bill that is up for consideration in the Missouri legislature. Lawmakers are discussing whether the state should or should not limit which specific platforms can be used in telehealth. Of course, you'll remember during COVID, telehealth took off. You could make appointments and it was very helpful for a lot of people. Well, some love it, especially I think if you live in a rural area where doctors are fewer and far between. So it's easy, just to be able to do telehealth. But others really loved it too. However, as they are considering this, kind of expanding it, if you will, or at least the platforms that can be used, some say that it really could increase the possibility for medical malpractice, and potentially even fraud. So definitely there's some for and some against this, but we will keep you posted as that bill works its way through the Missouri legislature. All right, also on the docket, if you will, for Missouri lawmakers is this, potentially having the state fund pre-K for families in need. Now, a lot of education officials are behind this. They like the idea of all kids going to pre-K. They say it's critical to get an early start on education. So what's being considered, by the way, would affect kids between 3 and 5 years old. However, not everyone is on board with that. Opponents argue that this could cut into revenue for public schools. And they also say that it could tie children too closely to government funding, which they say could then potentially be underfunded or change at some point, thus possibly going backwards in education. So that, again, we will see what happens with that. But it is being weighed right now in the Missouri legislature. All right, Newton County authorities are looking for who broke into a rural fire station in Pierce City and stole lots of equipment. About $3,000 worth of equipment walked out the door, and now they are looking for it. A big tool chest, air compressor, a hydraulic cutter, just to name a few of the items. Much more than that, though, as well. So if you have any information on the case, you are asked to call the Newton County Sheriff's Office. We are 5 days away from the Super Bowl number 58. So exciting. The Chiefs will be there again, taking on the 49ers in Las Vegas. As you can imagine, security is tight. Already, K-9 teams are there. As well as a special group called the Protective Force International. They are in place as well, all over Las Vegas, making sure that everything is up to speed. That's on top of all the other normal security people that they would have in that city on other occasions. So this is like additional beef, additional manpower. They say they are working around the clock to be ready for a mass influx of people. Get this, downtown Las Vegas is also preparing for 3 full nights of free concerts leading up to the big game. You know, it's funny because now if you're not going to the big game, I could see a lot of people from the Ozarks just flying out to Las Vegas to go to free concerts for 3 nights. So anyway, security, though, is tight. So that's good news. That is good news. All right. Did you see this? Big money is coming to Mizzou, like really big money. A private donor who wants to remain anonymous is giving $62 million to Mizzou Athletics, talking athletic department donation. The university says $50 million will go toward renovating Memorial Stadium, and the remaining $12 million will go toward the Tiger Fund, which is a scholarship fund that benefits student athletes. This is the largest gift in Mizzou athletics history. That's big. $62 million. Nothing to sniff at, right? And finally, going on right now at Springfield Little Theater is In the Heights. This is a Tony Award-winning musical. You can find ticket information right now. It's at the Landers Theater box office on East Walnut Street. That is rated PG-13. Going on right now. Should be a great show. All right, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Around the Ozarks in 5. This might be like the shortest in the history of Around the Ozarks, coming in at 7 minutes and 45 seconds. That's what happens when my better half is out of town and I don't have anybody to banter with. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. And Lord willing, Ethan will be back with you in the next couple days. So stay tuned. All right. Have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday. We are starting off with temperatures below the freezing point. As of 5 a.m., we're right around 30 degrees, but guess what? I'm going to nearly double that number for the afternoon high today. 60 for the afternoon high. It is going to be a fantastic afternoon in the Ozarks. Cold mornings, warm afternoons. That's really the headline in my forecast as we head into this week. It's looking pretty nice each and every day. We'll have these nice warm temperatures. Even Monday ended up being pretty nice after the breeze and the wind chill in the 20s to start off Monday morning. We landed in the upper 50s and the sunshine was out, so it was feeling pretty good. We're going to beat that today. It looks a whole lot better, and I think high temperatures make it into the 60s in many communities. So warm to start the week. That is definitely one of the headlines. Cold mornings and warm afternoons. We've got high pressure in control and really a pretty tranquil pattern across the central part of the country. Not a lot happening on the East Coast either. All the action out on the West Coast and out in the western mountain ranges. It's pretty calm here in the Ozarks. We're under a ridge of high pressure. We get a south breeze that's going to stick around Today, the wind is not as strong, but later this week, it picks up for us, and that's going to boost our high temperatures into the middle 60s. We may even push 70 degrees by the time we get to Thursday. The trade-off for the warmth, that extreme warmth that we'll see later this week, is going to be a strong wind. Southerly winds will be gusty, really 3 days of gusty winds here. That's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So enjoy the tranquil winds that we have this afternoon. Tomorrow, we get that south wind gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. I think by Thursday, we could see winds gusting close to 40 miles an hour. And even on Friday, we've still got a southwesterly wind in the forecast, 20 to 25 mile an hour wind gusts. Breezy for several days, but we can thank the wind for the warmth because it's coming out of the south. It's bringing up even more warmth into our part of the country. With those high winds, though, we have to at least mention the threat for some elevated fire danger conditions, objects that could blow around if you have anything sitting on the porch or it's trash night or something. So the second half of the week, you may notice some items are not where you left them. And high profile vehicles could have some issues on the roadways. So if you're driving for the second half of the week, keep in mind it is going to be kind of breezy in the Ozarks. The other headline that I have for you is that rain chances return this week, but not until Thursday evening. I expect that we see temperatures that are warmest on Thursday with high temperatures near 70 degrees. A cool down looks to arrive by Sunday of the weekend, but Saturday's looking quite nice too. And we have several dry days in this forecast. So high temperature today, this afternoon, we are going to hit 60 degrees with full sunshine. A little bit of cloud cover in the forecast on Wednesday. The winds pick up, high temperatures. They'll be in the low to mid 60s for highs. I'm going 63 for Wednesday. By Thursday, 67 degrees. There could be a few spots in the Ozarks that make it to 70, which will be kind of wild. And then Thursday evening, we get a rain chance. Temperatures by Friday will still be in the upper 60s. I think we're still in the 60s on Saturday. Spring fever definitely this week before that cooler pattern arrives for us. And that does look to happen by the time we get to late this weekend. Around the country, what's making headlines is the awful flooding happening out on the West Coast and portions of Southern California. Life-threatening flash flooding will continue today. We also have heavy snowfall happening all the way from the Sierra Nevada mountain chain through the Rockies. Heavy winter snow, and that is making all the skiers hitting those late winter ski trips pretty happy. But for travel, it's just going to be kind of a nightmare for anybody trying to travel in the Intermountain West. So keep that in mind if you have friends or family out that way. All right, it is time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question, sponsored by Scooters Coffee. We're giving away $20 every single day for correct answers to our Brain Twister trivia questions. So here's the question that I left you with yesterday. Which word in the English language is the most complex to define? The options that I gave you were A, put, B, run, or C, set. This question came from an article that I read from Reader's Digest, and it's so funny. I'll read you the example. If you guessed B, run, you are correct. That seems like the most simple. You might think it is absurd, and maybe it is, but Oxford English Dictionary editors recently revealed that run has indeed become the single word with the most potential meanings in all of English, boasting no fewer than 645 different use cases for the verb form alone. That's kind of wild. I certainly could not think of that many, but I can use run in many different ways. The copious amounts of definition are featured in the Oxford English Dictionary's edition, a third edition that began with the obvious one, run to go with quick steps on alternate feet, and then proceed to run on for 75 other columns of text describing the different ways to define run and different ways to use it. This entry took the professional lexicographer, who apparently comes up with these definitions, 9 months of research to complete. It took them a very long time because there are so many different ways to use this word. I'm going to read you this example because I was trying to think myself, like, okay, how many ways can I use that word and what different meanings can it have? I've got to read you this entry. It was so funny. Context is everything here. So think about it. When you run a fever, for example, those 3 letters have a very different meaning than when you run a bath to treat the fever, or when your bath water subsequently runs over and drenches your cotton bath runner, forcing you to run out to the store and buy a new one. There, you run up a bill of $85 because besides a rug and some cold medicine, you just need some thread to fix the run in your stockings and some tissue for your runny nose and a carton of milk because you've run through your supply at home. And all this makes dread run through your soul because your Value Club membership runs out at the end of the month and you've already run over your budget on last week's grocery run where you ran over a nail in the parking lot. And now your car won't even run properly because whatever idiot runs that Walmart apparently lets his custodial staff run amok. And now you know you're letting your inner monologue run on and on. But gosh, you'd do things differently if you ran the world. And scene. Pretty crazy. Run is the most complex to define. Congrats if that was your guess over at aroundtheozarks.com. Here is another chance to win. How much was the average ticket price for the very first Super Bowl? Do you think it cost A, $6, B, $12, C, $24, or D, $48? Don't all those prices sound so nice? I'll let you know the answer. That's tomorrow coming up on Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather with me, meteorologist Abby Dyer. While you're at the website, don't forget to enter the trivia question. We also have some other great contests running right now. You can be our Valentine here at Around the Ozarks. We're giving away dinner and a show. So enter that contest too. And of course, we have the tickets to the Sertoma Chili Cook-Off, which happens this upcoming, next week. A lot of great stuff. Check it out on the website. That's aroundtheozarks.com. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the sunshine and the 60-degree weather. I'll chat with you tomorrow.